The queen must dance naked in the village square, in the heart of the Frabianco kingdom, where the sun kissed the earth with golden rays and the rivers sang ancient songs. There lived a queen named Magdalene. She was the second wife of King Agabus, a ruler known for his fiery temper and unpredictable nature. Magdalene was no ordinary queen. She was renowned for her wit, her charm, and her insatiable appetite, both for food and for life. Her massive frame and her height, just a whisper above a pygmy's, made her a striking figure in the royal court. But what truly set her apart was the fact that she alone had borne the king a son, while his other 3 wives had only daughters. This made her the king's favorite, a position that swelled her pride and fed her ego. Magdalene reveled in her status. She wore the finest silks, ate the richest foods, and commanded the respect of all who crossed her path. But her favoritism bred resentment among the other queens. They whispered in the shadows, their envy festering like a wound that refused to heal. They could not bear to see Magdalene bask in the king's adoration while they were overlooked, and so they conspired. One moonless night, the 3 queens gathered in secret. Their plan was as cunning as it was cruel. They would accuse Magdalene of adultery, a crime punishable by the harshest of penalties in Frabianco. They bribed a palace guard to play along, promising him riches beyond his wildest dreams, but the guard, unaware of the true danger, agreed to their scheme. The next morning the kingdom was rocked by scandal. The 3 queens stood before King Agabus, their faces masks of feigned sorrow as they accused Magdalene of betraying him with the palace guard. The king's rage was immediate and uncontrollable. He ordered the guard arrested without trial, and in a fit of fury, the man was hanged before the sun reached its zenith. The guard's lifeless body swayed in the wind, a grim reminder of the king's wrath. Magdalene pleaded her innocence, but the evidence, orchestrated by her rivals, was damning. The king, torn between his love for her and the weight of tradition, sought to protect her. He called upon the kingmakers and the elders, hoping to find a way to spare her. But the laws of Frabianco were clear. Both parties accused of adultery must face the penalty. The guard had already paid with his life, and now Magdalene must pay hers. The elders deliberated for days, their voices echoing in the sacred council chamber. Finally, they reached a verdict. Magdalene, Queen of Frabianco, would not be put to death. Instead, she would face a punishment that would strip her of her dignity and humble her before the people she once ruled. She would dance naked in the village square, a spectacle to atone for her alleged crime. The news spread like wildfire. On the appointed day, the village square was packed with onlookers, their faces a mix of curiosity and judgment. Magdalene, clad in a simple cloth, was led to the center of the square. Her heart pounded as she stood before the crowd, her pride crumbling like a sandcastle before the tide. The drums began to beat, slow and steady, like the pulse of the earth itself. With tears streaming down her face, Magdalene began to dance. Her movements were raw and unpolished, a reflection of her pain and vulnerability. But as the drums grew louder, something shifted. Her dance became a story, a tale of resilience and strength. She moved with a grace that defied her size, her body telling the story of a queen who had fallen but refused to be broken. The crowd, once eager for her humiliation, fell silent. They saw not a queen stripped of her dignity, but a woman who bore her suffering with courage. Even the 3 queens who had orchestrated her downfall could not look away. In that moment, Magdalene's dance became a symbol of redemption, a reminder that even in the face of injustice, the human spirit could rise. When the dance ended, the square was eerily quiet. Magdalene, exhausted but unbroken, stood tall. The king, moved by her strength, stepped forward and took her hand. He declared her innocence not through words but through his actions. The 3 queens, exposed by their own guilt, were banished from the kingdom. From that day forward, Magdalene was no longer just the king's favorite. She was the people's queen, a symbol of resilience and grace. And though the scars of that day remained, she wore them with pride, a testament to the power of the human spirit to rise above even the darkest of trials. And so, The Tale of Queen. Magdalene's dance became legend, a story passed down through generations reminding all who heard it that true strength lies not in power, but in the courage to face adversity with dignity.